All right, it's 6:08. We'll call the meeting to order. If we can stand for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll stretch this and yeah, introductions. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. I'm Connor, the vice chair, stepping in for Charlie, who's on Zoom with us.
Kevin Gosson, commissioner.
Mark Weinhardt, staff.
Katie Lang, quick setup for the Arts and Commission. Beverly Ballas, Fairfield Chamber of Commerce.
Grayson Guest and VP of Fundraising at Burr Elementary.
Welcome.
Mary Guest and Burr Elementary PTA.
Lori Bloom, local artist.
Right.
We'll skip over the approval minutes until we get to
Okay. That. So our next item on the agenda is to hear, consider, and act upon a proposed art auction fundraiser at Burr Elementary. So Amy, if you want to tell us about what you got going on.
Yeah, so I'm an avid art lover, but I am one of those people who, like most people, doesn't know where to start when it comes to art, right? And I look at all of the exhibits at the library, and I'm always looking at all of our local artists, and I love to go to art shows, but it's intimidating. And what do I spend? And I don't go to maybe a gallery because that's also incredibly intimidating. And so Carrie and I were having this conversation one day about like, what is everybody missing in their home? And what does everybody say they're missing? Oh, I wish I had artwork. Oh, I wish I had good artwork. And then it's the same conversation, blah, blah, blah. And then what does everybody go do? They go to Home Goods and they go buy something that doesn't mean anything to them. And it's like aesthetics, right? It went with my couch, so I bought it. And that's not who I am, so I have a bunch of holes on my wall that have nothing there. So last 2 years, I've done the auction at Burr, and we're auctioning off the local stuff, which is great. You're getting a Bonkers gift card, and you're getting a night at, the Del Mar, or whatever. This is all things everybody can buy themselves, and it's boring, and it's repetitive. And it makes decent money. It doesn't make great money for the school because why am I going to spend $300 on soccer lessons when I could have spent $150 going to the person directly? So all of a sudden I went, well, what can I auction off that you cannot walk into a store and go get? Art. And so all I see is artists everywhere in Fairfield. And then my kid had one of his sculptures at the Pequot Library. Right? And I walk in there and I'm like, look at what the seniors are doing, right? I go down to go make copies at the Board of Ed. Look at the artwork that's displayed here. Let's utilize this. How many artists want to get their name out there, want to get the word out that they're there, and how many people want art in their homes? So Carrie was the one who had the idea, why don't you contact the Arts Commission, which I didn't even know existed. I've only lived here 3 years. So I'm here asking, how can we partner up? How can we get the names out there? Obviously, this is not for me to purchase art. I am looking for artists who are willing to donate pieces. And then I do have a friend, and I have her whole bio that I can send to you. I have a friend in Wilton who moved here a few years ago. She owned galleries in London, galleries in San Francisco. She's now a stay-at-home mom, but she's starting her own art consulting business. So she's going to actually help me curate everything, display it nicely, put it up so it looks like a gallery, right? We want to put out profiles. We want to put up the pictures. I don't want this to be, I threw something up. I want it to look like an art show. So when everyone walks in, they feel like they actually went to a gallery and now they get to bid on pieces and go home and say, this spoke to me. So that's my pitch, is how do you help me get artists? And would this be something that the local artists would want to contribute to? Am I asking a lot? I don't know.
We have a local artist here, so.
Yeah, I keep looking at you.
No, there's probably enough artists that would be more than happy to donate, I would imagine. I mean, I know I would, why not?
Awesome.
It's for Burr School directly?
Yes, so all of the proceeds go to the PTA. Hope's husband is a very famous tattoo artist, so he's already donating. He does art on the side for himself. He's going to be donating a piece. My neighbor does pop art, who lives across the street from me. He's going to be donating. And tell me your name. Amazing. But yeah, that's just the thought. But I didn't, it's where do you go besides posting a Facebook post, which is not what I don't know.
When
Could do
are
it.
you doing it? I'm sorry, I walked in.
Yes, that's a great question. Not till February or March.
It's a one night thing or is it a month?
Nope, it's a one night thing. It'll be an online only auction. Because online, because we have a community of say about 250 plus families, 300 plus students. Not everybody comes to the parent social. So I don't want to limit the auction to just the people that have bought tickets to the social. And then you get more bids. So I want to open it up to everybody who decided not to go but is sitting on their couch and still wants art.
So you are gonna create a gallery somewhere in the school and then you're gonna post everything online as well?
Yes, it won't be at the school. It'll be at a venue. So every year we have it at a different venue because you need drinks and you cannot have alcohol on school property.
So it's like your parents' night out, and it'll be the gallery. I guess.
Yes. Yeah, so
Are
it's
you gonna have a jury? That's my other question.
I don't know what it, curated?
No, jury, because.
I thought that's what you said. I was like, I don't know what that means.
So that means that you have some group of people, Lori can speak to this, who decide what goes in and what doesn't go in, or you're just gonna accept everything?
I think I might, Carrie and I are gonna work together. My friend Hope is gonna look at things. I do want other people's opinion, obviously. I think it's gonna be hard to get a lot. So I do need to not be incredibly picky. I don't wanna look a gift horse in the mouth and be like, ugh. That's not fair, because also what I don't like, somebody else might like, right? Isn't that what art is? So that's not for me to say. Yeah.
And it's a parents only event, so it can really be pretty much
more
anything.
relaxed.
Yeah, it's no
Yeah.
parents are gonna be there.
Period. It is
Yeah,
pretty serious stuff if
Yeah.
it is.
it's not like a family event. It's a
Yeah.
get your babysitter, put on an outfit.
Yeah.
Come have a nice night and help the school.
So from our perspective, Mark, what would you say the best way that we could help? We could
Try to
probably
get,
include it.
it's basically getting the word out.
Our mailing
to
list.
the art
Yeah.
community and helping spread
And our
that.
social.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I think it's a pretty easy ask
awesome.
to work with Amy and her group up there, so.
It's not a big group.
Not a big group.
Yeah. I had another question because Hope said this to me today. I was like, I'm worried about the location, the venue. I said I have to try and find somewhere where I can display everything, but I obviously can't hang anything. And she said, well, what if you find a gallery who has an off night and they're in between shows? They're gonna know how to get things in and out, and they're gonna want the extra income because we obviously pay for the rental. So if there are any suggestions of a space that you might know of, that would be great to have. It's a parent social, so we want there to be room for, say, 100 plus people and mingling and a little dancing, whatever, but that also, I don't wanna just put the art on easels. I wanna make sure nothing's getting knocked over, right? I don't, listen, the parents are gonna be good. Nobody's coming up and swatting things down. But if you happen to know of a venue that would be able to work with me, that'd be great too.
We will.
You don't have to tell me.
I have a couple ideas. Before I start volunteering people, I think I should probably just check into that a little bit more.
So then I guess the best way to follow up would be to send whatever to Mark and we can all chip in to
Yep.
Okay.
get the word out.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll send Hope's bio so you can see who's helping and everything you need.
Perfect, great.
Awesome.
Thank you for
Mark.
joining us.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
All right, let's go backwards now and go to our approval of the minutes from our July meeting.
Well, sorry,
Thank you, Lori.
we're.
Mean and mean tonight.
Bare bones tonight.
So,
Matt's having trouble.
okay.
Okay.
Thank you
All right,
guys
well,
so much
thank you
for
guys.
having
Thank
me.
you so much.
Thanks for joining
Thank you. I
us.
appreciate the time.
Thank you, Beverly.
On page 38 is the view of our cultural district, so it's
Yay.
nice, so we've got that.
So finally we've got a
Full
full.
page.
Thank
right,
you,
yeah.
thank you. Wow, I can keep this.
Yes.
You have an advanced copy.
Yes. We're still in distribution mode.
You don't have to wait for
Motion to
yours.
approve.
Do we have a motion to approve? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. And it's approved, great. All right, moving on to agenda number 6, to hear, consider, and act upon a public art agreement with the Rise Up Group.
So we've had conversations, obviously, with Matt and the Rise Up group for some time now, and it's culminated in scope of work, a scope of services. This is fairly generic. As you can see, this kind of defines roughly what they would be doing for us, and the terms of the engagement, put some rough parameters around it. But at the same time, each project that they'll work on is going to be identified, and then we'll develop a specific scope of services and a fee associated with that, which is intended as a kind of a work order. So I think this is a good framework. Any contract like this has to be approved by the Board of Selectmen, because this will be for longer than a 3-month period. So, I almost prefer, it's fine, I think, in the abstract without a specific project. We have an idea what we'd like to be working on, but we haven't yet developed a specific site, so we can develop a specific fee proposal and scope of work. If you agree with this, I've run it past the town attorney. He's provided his comments and edits, which you see as a red line copy here. I believe that's acceptable to Matt. So we're all set, but this would have to be referred to the Board of Selectmen for their action. And I was kind of debating whether to hold it until we have a specific work order, so they would.
And a full Board of Selectmen?
That's the other thing too. But I don't think this is terribly controversial. I think this would garner support regardless. But sometimes it's easier if you're talking about a specific
1,000%.
Right. So it's a little harder to explain things like.
Well, it might be.
Yeah.
So
Then you're just gonna have to come back.
I would probably have to come back. I mean, oftentimes, we do have budgetary authority to go up to this, but I'm anticipating that we probably will develop a scope of work and a project that might exceed what we have in our budget, and we're going to need to fundraise for the balance. And so that requires, somebody having to appropriate something up front and figuring out how we, cover it, backfill it with sources from grants or whatever. So you can approve it, forward it. I can just, depending on when the Board of Selectmen would like to take it up, maybe in the meantime.
Do we have a copy of it?
What's that?
Do we have a copy of it?
Yes, it went out in the packet.
Okay, I missed that.
Again, it's not.
Very
Wasn't, it
standard.
was
I'm not
fairly
an attorney.
standard, yeah. Wasn't anything that really, other than, it refers to a work order, which, there's a blank form, but it doesn't talk about a specific project. So, that's my only hesitation in advancing it to the Board of Selectmen because of that reason, because again, it's a little easier to
Just
talk
open up for random debates and, hypotheticals.
Well, I think we all were thinking we could use some help if we're going to do a mural. Working with his group would be helpful in identifying artists and working through that whole process. And so, where we left off, Lou and Christine, Lori, and I were talking about a couple different sites. I've reached out to the people that own the Stop and Shop Plaza. I've reached out to every contact I can think of, and I've gotten no response. And so I'm going to call the property management firm now. I've reached out to them, to the president, to the broker that I talked to before. I don't know what's going on, but try not to take it too personally. But, it was that. I thought that was something we could at least. It was small enough in scope that we might be able to do it with largely our own funds for the most part. Yeah, we've talked about FDC has a blank wall or several walls actually, if you think about it. So I'm not sure we're talking the side that faces the train station, the side that faces the lot, or the side that faces Uncle Road. There's space there to do something that would have maybe a musical or.
No, you're good. I can see it.
So there's a couple different locations. Every time I'm driving around town, I've seen blank walls now.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
we could go there. They're all on private property for the most part. So I do need to, that's been the challenge. I was looking for a public place, and unfortunately, the retaining wall that I had in mind is actually on private property.
Oh, the one at the train station.
No, well, no, the parking lot, that's us.
Oh.
But those are massive.
Yeah, which one are you talking about then?
The retaining wall by Stop and Shop, which,
Right.
Parks and Rec was interested in that little pocket park there. It faces the pocket park. It's on Kings Highway, which is an area that, but it's relatively small. But again, when I looked at it survey-wise, it's actually on private property, so
The underpasses are like
The
state.
underpasses,
Nice
again, we can do that. There is a program through the state. We have some familiarity with working with the state. It's not as easy if we own the property ourselves.
Those
So
are
that's
great-
probably-
Those are great places in need
That would
of
be another-
some
yeah.
freshening
We've talked-
versus
We
like.
talked about that too.
Yeah.
There's a couple, certainly the one, I think on Umpqua coming from the high school down, one of those faces would be possible.
Yeah.
What about Jennings Beach,
Somebody had suggested that too.
Which, Katie, which?
the pavilion, or like where the lifeguards are and the snack, like as you walk up, it's like just two blank spaces.
Oh, that's cool. That would be cool.
So I guess my ask of all of you is, if you have ideas like that, take a picture, send it to me, or just give me a description of the address, as specific as you can make it. Because we should, that's what
Because it's
really
kind
what
of
we
like,
need to do.
that one is just this gross municipal building.
Yeah, well, there are a lot
Push
of,
it up.
a lot of them, this would be helpful from a
Yeah.
standpoint of just beautifying a structure that's
Exactly.
really not,
Yeah.
very attractive to begin with, underpasses and such like that too. But, I think we should try to focus on something the town owns as our first
Yeah.
one, and then once we get going, then I think then we can show it to a private
Yeah.
property owner and say, this is what we're thinking about. Would you allow us to beautify your part of the building?
Yeah.
So that, I know that the former first selectman was really keen on the train station. They are, but it's a massive wall.
I'm more than keen on that.
And it would be great. I think we now can get approval for that, but we're talking about I think if you're just doing a panel, it will look silly. You kind of have to do, or have something that doing a fairly large, and that's probably a
And I think,
significant
and I
undertaking.
think we all know that, like, that will represent Fairfield more than a little panel here, an underpass there. When that goes up, people will feel that really
Yeah, I was just looking for something.
represents their town.
I was looking for
You know what I
something
mean?
like 5,000 versus 50,000.
Yeah. Also, I mean,
That's a case state.
the public debate on that one at the train station, will be.
I don't know, I think.
I love it. I would love to do something.
I think,
powerful there.
I think they just got tied up. Again, you can define kind of a generic theme if you want to and just let people respond to a call. And then you can take a concept that, you get consensus around and then go for it. But that would be a fairly significant mural. That would, we don't have the money for that.
Yeah, I know.
It would be tough coming out of the gates for something like that. I'd love to do it because it would be a statement for sure. I was just hoping, maybe we piloted something like in the $5,000 to $10,000 range and say, hey, look, we see what we can do on a small space. Imagine this whole
Yep.
campus there. So, and then we can ask for it in the budget process. So anyway, the agreement looks fine to me. The town attorney's looked at it. I may,
So you're saying let's sit on it until we
You
can.
can act on it tonight, but I
consensus.
may decide to hold it before it goes to the board of selectmen until we have a specific project, which would come back before this group anyway. So it's up to you if you want to act on it tonight or you want to wait till another time till we have a
I
specific.
actually think it's better if the whole commission is here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And yeah, my vote's for having something specific.
and for having something specific, but.
So that would be my ask of all of you, if you can think of other, preferably town-owned, but not necessarily, because we'll just create an inventory of prospective mural locations in town or public
So
art.
that wall at the park, at the train station is town property?
It is, yeah.
And you don't think that Rise Up, because they've talked about partnering with us and raising some of the money, so you don't think, you really think that's 50's too much? If we can rise up
We
to,
can talk to them. I was just hoping to have a couple different options, not to immediately
Okay.
settle on that.
Okay.
I was a little scared about coming out of that with the first thing. Because I just, what we can put into it is probably like 5, so it's a lot of money to raise.
okay.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the other things, like Bridgeport has a great program, but that's all public dollars that they're putting into it for the most part. So it's, they've raised a lot of money and put it into that program.
They've raised private money, you mean?
No, they've appropriated dollars.
They've appropriated from their town, city budget.
Mostly grants, and the
I
grants.
mean, part of it was
Gotten grants?
They've all gotten grants, but the grants have been like.
they used, initially, I think it was like COVID dollars, I think
It's
they.
horrible what's happening, like, programs are being cut like crazy. Like, I work with Silver Mine Art Guild teaching classes and I push in Bridgeport, and our budget is half of what it was, so I'm only doing 5 classes as opposed to 15. Like, it's just
The whole public
the whole
schools.
grant thing is killing nonprofits right now, badly.
Yeah.
Well, I do know that, but, yeah, but I didn't know, let's just think out of the box for a second, Mark. So we have the Porsche people coming in, they're doing a huge dealership there. It's gonna take them a year to build it. It's gonna be fabulous. When, I'm just throwing it out there, when new big companies like that come in, we can't, so you go to any of these Cape or the islands for the summer, and when you rent a property, there's a certain percent that goes to the local like art fund or the local real estate fund. They have little funds. So what about going to these new big companies that are coming in, and Fairfield's such a desirable place. Part of the deal becomes you need to contribute to this art fund.
Yeah, there's 2 ways that's done. One is you can go out and ask for donations or sponsorships of that, or some communities, particularly there's Florida, there's a lot of examples, and California as well, where they have a public art fund, they have similar to what we have for affordable housing, a fee that's associated with it. If you go to a certain threshold in terms of your project, you need to incorporate public art or contribute to a public art fund. So we're not quite there yet. I mean, I think the project that we're working with at 730, 750 Commerce, which was approved by planning and zoning, by the way, I think that's a first step.
But they initiated that.
They did initiate it. But I think it's oftentimes, and I'm not saying we shouldn't go and ask for donations from big corporations or companies. I don't know, I shouldn't even say big corporations, but businesses here in town. My experience with fundraising is, there are some people that can write, sometimes we have success writing bigger checks, but it's tough
What I'm
luck.
suggesting is a percentage of the deal.
Yeah, that has to be.
There you go, signed here.
An ordinance.
Yeah.
And,
I'm so sorry, my phone's on.
and I think off the bat, I'd prefer to go the voluntary route initially versus compulsory. I think,
And get some wins.
but your point is well taken. But I do think it's oftentimes easier to have conversations with, the Penske's of the world and say, hey, we're thinking of this, but it's a little easier to visualize something if they can already see something that we've already done on a smaller scale and say, we have this
I hear you.
vision for this other site. We want to do something like this, but, bigger, and that's going to require, $50,000. Will you contribute $10,000 toward that? That type of thing. So it's just a different approach. I mean, and I'm in a awkward position too when you go, and I'm an advocate for business. Part of my job is to get these businesses to invest in the community, get them through the permitting process, and then yes, part of that is maybe you can say, hey, we've got this great community project, would you consider? But it's always a delicate balancing act, so I don't want to be too overt and like, give me money.
Well, it would be.
Through planning and zoning, I would think.
Right, I guess what I'm suggesting is that, like, starting in January 1st, 2026, every real estate deal that happens in town, they have to
That
pursue.
would be an ordinance. Yeah.
They would have to contribute. I mean, maybe the commission can make that recommendation if that's something we believe in, that every business that comes here after January 1st, 2026 or 2027 has to contribute 2% or 0.5% of whatever the annual rent, or I don't know how you would structure it, to a public art fund.
Maybe part of our work
So I
here
think
then
we-
should be to research how other towns are doing
Yeah, I can do
this.
that.
So Connecticut doesn't have a lot of experience with that program. They do have programs where they, compel, if you're doing a public project, like New Haven has a requirement, if you're building a school, if you're building a public building or any other public facility or project, a portion of that has to go.
I'm pretty sure the Porsche, aren't they building a public access and a
They
park?
are, they are.
So,
Oh, I didn't know that.
So part of that, they've already have a big commitment. I think they're carving out almost, I don't remember, but it's
Half acre.
a half acre along the river there that it's all going to be cleaned up and land. So that's already,
That's nice.
Again, it doesn't hurt. We do need to then, part of the process would be to establish a public art fund. It could be funded through not just fees, if we got to that point, but it will also be funded through donations or other philanthropic support. We don't have a segregated fund, so maybe the first step is just to create a public art fund that people could then contribute to. And then we can talk about ways in which we could fill that, because, unless you have a whole charitable giving strategy and somebody actually doing the work, you're not
legacy giving.
you don't
to
get
community.
any
Yeah.
So you might get a little bit more towards public art than we do for affordable housing, but somebody has to do it. But I think your points are well taken. I would say, I can talk to Matt and see what he thinks is realistic. I looked at one panel, those panels are quite large, and there's multiple of them. So you really can't just do one panel. It would look kind of silly.
You
You have to do a very large mural, and maybe $50,000 is kind of on the low end when we're all said and done.
Prep, paint, and maintain.
Yeah, I think it would be fantastic.
Well, wait, so the Circle Diner, that wall, that's a big wall.
It's big, and how long have they been painting there? For years and years,
Yeah.
right? It's kind
They're
of
not spending
fun.
$100,000 on that.
They're
Am I
not. They're, and that's why they're not doing
The
it.
artist, yeah.
They're essentially, the artist is essentially donating that.
But it's not costing them $100,000 to do it.
No, they're paying for the supplies if they do that at all. I mean, the biggest cost for doing a vertical thing would be probably renting the scaffold,
The scissor
the lift equipment to do it. Because that can be pricey. So I agree, they're not spending that. Again, if we're the Arts Commission, we're trying to support local artists, I don't want to be asking artists to give away their work for free. We should be
not at all.
paying for them to do it and, providing a fair rate of compensation for the time and effort and their creative inspiration. So, it'll be what it's going to be. I hear what you're saying. So I will go back and talk to Matt and see if I'm if my estimate is off. What do you think? But I do think we should have a couple other options.
Yeah, okay, I hear you. So start with something smaller. And I want the businesses to pay for this.
Is there a revolving paper that has all the locations that have been spotted out yet? Like a live document?
I will create one. I have like 2 locations so far. So, yeah. I'm having trouble, you've told me a couple times about one in Southport, and I'm not exactly sure what you're meaning, so.
All right, I'll take more pictures and try and do a actual Google pin or whatever it's called. Yeah.
Sorry about that. I've driven past it a couple times, I think. I said, "No,
What's Lou talking about? You know?
I think I've driven past it.
Okay.
All right, moving on to committee updates. Anything from marketing and communications, Mark?
The only thing I'll point out, I was going to do this under other business too, but we did put out a press release on the utility cabinet public art
Yep.
opportunity. We did that pilot project on Sherman Green. We're looking to identify up to 4 other locations throughout town. And then once we do that, the idea would be to put out a call for artists. We're doing we also put together a sponsorship packet. If we group wants to sponsor it for $500, that would largely, provide, I think, the stipend for the artists, and we would pay for the cost of the fabrication and installation of the vinyl wrap. So the idea is to wrap a few of our not so nice looking utility cabinets throughout town. I think the next one I definitely have a commitment from is the public library. The library trustees did approve $500, so the cabinet in front of the public library would be one of the 4. I've talked to the Stratfield Village Association about the one on the 4 corners, which they had paid for, and then only to have, I think, the utility company come in and replace the box within a month of it actually being installed.
Oh, goodness.
It's like they carted it away. But there wasn't any paperwork associated with it, so it was kind of like everyone's left holding the bag. So that we would be at risk too. There's always that possibility if the controller is bad and they decide to replace it or it gets damaged somehow, the art that we put up may not last.
Well, art is
time.
ephemeral sometimes.
But that is the risk that we run. So anyway, we're looking for that. Haven't got any folks. We've gotten we put out a couple social media posts and a press release, but haven't really picked up a lot on it. So we're going to try to put a little bit more emphasis on it in the coming weeks about it. It didn't get in the First Selectman's newsletter, but we're hoping to get an insertion in there as well. So that's it on the utility cabinet public art thing. Matt, our next cultural district advisory board meeting is 25th.
Same day as
Do you
the
have anything
mixer.
more to, what?
Same day as the mixer.
Same day as the mixer,
Probably.
But earlier at 2.
2 o'clock,
Yeah.
correct. I don't want to steal if you had anything else to report.
Just that I know we were focusing on the 250 anniversary events on October 25th and 26th. Then we talked about this townwide day of service for MLK Day on January 19th as like a cultural district project, like a larger community service project. And then some of the public art that you covered already. We've also talked about like a sort of welcome informational station on the green. I mean, these, and like, what's that? Yeah, yeah. And just having like where we can get some of these pamphlets that have all of the events in there, like a flyer for all the events we can fit that month, among other things, but we'll have more updates after this. Anything else specifically with that I should mention now, or just given the big picture?
That's it.
All right, any other points on the public art working group?
Not for me.
Just talked about, right?
The one, can I mention one public art thing? It's like, I know we've talked a bit about that place across from Sunny Days where the flags go, and that's not a great place to visit, right? Because the parking will never be good.
Right.
But it would be a great place for one striking piece of like some installation that can be like identifiable as Fairfield, something visually compelling? Because the space doesn't look like it's going to be used for another purpose. Is that?
I think that's a fair assessment. I don't think the Parks and Rec, or whatever they're now called, the commission has any designs on it other than, using it for what it is now.
Yeah.
Passive open space, a park, a pocket park. But you're right, it's hard to get there, but I think it could be like a sculpture piece.
Yeah, some large striking.
It would require, again, we'd have to go to the Parks and Rec Commission with a proposal and ask them to support it. And I think that would be fine. I think we just need to have, put a little bit more meat on the bones in terms of what we're thinking about and put a dollar, to it, because
You'd want to put a brief together on what the piece of art would you want it to do, and
That's something we could sort of bid out in terms of like different groups doing renderings of what it could look like, give them the specs, and then could be publicly funded if we find something that.
This is part of what, the Rise Up group could assist us with too. It's not just murals, but it could be a sculpture installation as well. So that could be another project we look to them for support.
That area seems like it's public area, right? And it's very visible. So it just seems like a great opportunity for us.
Mm-hmm. There's no question about that.
Okay. Katie, any updates on Creative Ground?
Just, I did meet with Mark and Mary Alice, and we started to put links to Creative Ground, our local artists here. And so for the mixer, I'm gonna sit at a table with my computer, so anyone who wants to create their profile, I could walk them through that. I also am gonna get materials from New England Foundation for the Arts sent to me for handouts. They also have like PDFs for like, if you're in like every type of like category you can fall in, kind of like how-tos. So that also with the mixer, the gallery will be open, and there's a really beautiful exhibition right now. It's the quilts from Angola Prison, as well as Connecticut, I'm gonna botch the name, but basically the program that brings arts into women's prisons, and their work is on display. I'm hoping to have the rehearsal of Noli Tamir, which is a performance of, I'm blanking on the name, but it's this sculpture that was created by a famous sculptor and Princeton architects, mathematicians, and architects. And it's rigged from the ceiling, and then there's dancers and circus artists dancing throughout it. So it's like visual and performing arts. Wow. So they're gonna be rehearsing hopefully during that time. So I hope to turn on the TV, and I'll also have free tickets for that performance that's happening on Friday. And then we'll have our concessions open, and then I'll have some free snacks.
So it's the 25th.
Yes.
Civic Center from
7 to 8:30, yeah, because we're having an engineering class before that. I don't, because I'm crazy.
A little later, but.
Sorry, yeah, that's okay, no problem.
Any other business?
I will send this out to all, but Fairfield U wanted to also bring to our attention that there will be hosting the author, Annabelle Keenan, who is the Fairfield University store on Thursday, October 23rd for her new book, which she'll be signing, Climate Action in the Art World Towards a Greener Future. So apparently it talks about how the artists and art activists have led the way in creating awareness of climate change and talking about that. So,
What's the date, Mark?
the 23rd of October, Thursday, 5 to 7. But I'll send out a link in case you're interested. It's a free event, but several people said maybe the Art Commission would be interested in this.
Who said that, Jackie?
It actually came from David Frasinelli sent it to Mary Hogue, who sent it to me. So it's a very circuitous route.
Doesn't surprise me.
Any public comment?
I'm still a member of the public.
I will take a motion to adjourn then.
Well, were you going to bring up, Mark, changing the date?
Oh, one thing before, so we're a little shorthanded tonight. Charlie, thank you for joining via Zoom. Sam C is out of town. Christine, I did want to mention Christine, the reason she's not here, I don't know if you saw the announcement, but the studio, Christine and Priscilla, are one of 8 finalists for an award, a $25,000 grant through the Women's Business Development Center, the Accelerate Grant. It's part of the pitch competition. So on the 30th of September, it's a live pitch competition at Trinity College.
Wow.
And
They
she's
give the money or-
one of 8, and they select four recipients of $25,000 grant.
What do they, so they just make a pitch?
They make a pitch, yeah. So they were, you know, obviously they've gotten this far. They've been selected as one of the 8 finalists. So hopefully, you know, fingers crossed. But she called about it in a panic. Apparently her pitch deck got destroyed through her internet or some file problem with her technology. And she had to go retrieve a copy from her backup somewhere. So she was in a real panic. So that's why she's not
Good for
here.
her.
Yeah.
But I did want to mention a good news. That's great news for Christine. Congratulations and wish her well. Sam Goldstein, who is a regular attendee, is teaching a class every Tuesday at Southern. And so will not be able to attend these meetings as they're currently constituted. So, you know, obviously we set our meeting schedule for the full year, third Tuesday, 6 o'clock. I said, you know, we could consider changing our meeting schedule. Would at this point require, you know, making special meetings, which is fine. Obviously, in December, we set our schedule for 2026. So at the very least, I think by that point, we'll hopefully be able to make an adjustment where no one's foreclosed on the possibility of ever attending because of a class or other commitment. But I just wanted to bring that to your attention because we would always be, you know, Sam G would not be able, and he's been really involved. Obviously, the Artistic Vision Challenge is his brainchild. And I hope that we're going to be doing a year or two. So, you know, anything we can do to accommodate, but I don't know what you guys all think.
So what are you suggesting, that we change just so that would be October, November, December
We could
meeting?
change for October, November, December,
And then-
and have special meetings for the final 3 months of the year. And I don't know if there's alternative dates that work for people.
So it's
What's
Sorry
that?
about that. Somebody's leaving the restaurant.
Is he only teaching on Tuesdays or is?
I think it's Tuesdays and Thursdays, I
I don't
think.
know, I don't know.
I'll double check.
Yeah, he's doing Tuesdays and Thursdays.
That's
Tuesdays and
okay.
Thursdays.
I told him to reach out to you as well, so.
Well, Mark, you have a busy, everybody's got
Yeah.
a busy schedule, so what does everybody think?
Um,
You're the most important one, Mark.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm the most important. You're the people that make the quorums.
The leader.
You know, if it were, you know, we could do, Wednesdays are fine with the exception of the second Wednesdays of each month. I can't do that because that's when the Affordable Housing Committee meets. And then fair rent is on a Thursday night. So, you know, if it's another Wednesday night, that would be fine. It typically doesn't interfere, like planning and zoning is usually on Tuesdays, Board of Selectmen's on Wednesdays, but at 4. So, you know, something at 6 is not going to be a problem typically.
I would suggest that we just keep the schedule the way it is. If Sam can't make it between now and December, you know, so be it. Because I think we all have busy schedules and we all plan on Tuesdays, you know, the third week of the month. You know, he's going to do this till November, December, and then next semester it might change.
Well, an alternative could be, you know, if we have something related to the Artistic Vision Challenge or something like that that's important for Sam to be there, we can always have a special meeting for that particular month. So maybe we leave October the way it is for now, and then we can circle back and figure out if there's a time that works better for everyone. I don't want to inconvenience other folks just for one, but yeah, I feel bad that we can't, you know, it just worked out this way, that he's got a class teaching, so.
Okay.
So with that, now I'm done.
All right, I'll re-entertain a motion to adjourn. All right, 6:52. Thanks, everybody.
I think that was just to make sure that